Hello and welcome to the final tournament in a TeaBreak live from Roland Garros. Except it won't be live when you're listening to it, but hey ho. I am Ros Satar from Britwatch Sports.
And my name is René Denfeld from MyTennis.
And, well, it's done. It's done. It's decima plus one.
It's undecima.
That's the one. And, we hoped it was going to be a tight match. I suppose, actually, to be fair to Dominic, it was just a one-break deficit. Despite what Ken Rosewall said.
But overall I felt Dominic's team didn't play a terrible final. I don't think it. Look, we all would have wanted more. I'm sure he would have wanted more, but at the end, whenever push came to shove, it was Rafael Nadal who had his foot on the gas. Yes, it was. Yes, Ken Rosewall said controversially that it was a bit disappointing.
What was team's face like? Because
it was.
Was it just like? Huh?
It was slight. I don't know. It was somewhere between what and slight bemusement. But I don't even think he meant it in a terrible way. It was just. It's a shame that it wasn't a match more that was more competitive in terms of maybe going for another set or being closer in the scorelines of the sets. So I think that's like the main takeaway from today. Incredible achievement by Rafael Nadal, of course, winning here for the 11th time, only getting beaten here twice.
That's right.
So it's the end of this year's tournament, of the 2018 tournament, and we finish with both the world number one on the women's side and the world number one on the men's side winning, which I think that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I can live with that. I mean, it was interesting to see the emotion coming from Nadal. You know, there wasn't even that much emotion when he won La Decima and when they presented Uncle Tony with his own mini nibbled Coupe de Musketeer. So I was actually surprised, but I think maybe the enormity of what he's done, coming back again from injury and winning a slam, finally caught up with him. What do you think?
I think it's players realizing, that's also with Federer in Australia this year, I think it's them realizing, especially the two of them, that what is happening to them right now, it's not to be taken for granted, and it's something that could, if their body does not hold up well over the course of a year, there's a chance that that's the last time that they win that tournament. So I think that's something that is starting to play on their minds. It's something in general. It's something that I felt in my life at 30 years. You get a bit more sentimental. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Wait till I get to a whole other different level of zero behind it. I know. No, I'm being half serious here, but in terms of where their careers are at, they're very late in their careers, and when great things happen to you late in your career or late in whatever, you have maybe a different appreciation for it, and you get maybe even more emotional about it. And I think that's what happened today.
And I definitely think there was an element of that with Federer in Australia, that he, it was interesting that he didn't say I'll see you again next year, because I think genuinely he doesn't know whether he will. But yeah, I mean, take nothing away from Nadal. I think the one takeaway that we've got is he is now 3 slams behind Roger. If they do carry on playing with the longevity that they've displayed thus far, the race is really on. He could catch him.
He could, but I find, to be honest, I find the whole will he, won't they, will someone get like who's going to end up with most? I find it. Getting a bit tired of it in a way, because they've both done amazing in their own right, and I find the entire Nadal is the goat on clay, Federer is the goat on grass and hard court, or this and that. I find it all a bit tiresome actually, and it's just like, okay, let's appreciate that both of these men, and also to a certain degree Novak Djokovic has done, like maybe in this decade alone. It's incredible. So fantastic for Nadal. I think a lesson learned for Dominic Thiem in a way as well, who came out maybe overpacing a little bit, which is like, I asked him because he served so much faster on his first serve over the course of the first set, serving almost 200 kmh on average on his first serve, and being only at like 46% first serve percentage. And I asked him, like, did you feel you were overpacing? He was like, no, I felt good on my serve. That's why I was going big on my serve. Didn't quite pay off. Team played a good first set up until 4-all, and then he threw in a terrible honestly a terrible service game at 4-5 with 4 errors. But that's also scoreboard pressure, accumulating pressure, experience, and Nadal has been going through this 11 times or 10 times before, so it would be it's only natural that butterflies or that insecure moments come in at some point here and there for the newbie in that match.
But it was good to see him, at least get to that level. He wasn't too down, and I fully expect to see him in many, many more Slam finals to come.
I think he'll be a contender here for years to come. That's to me, that is as clear as sunshine. But whenever eventually Rafael Nadal is going to retire, same for Roger Federer, whenever that is, if that's in 1, 2, 3 years, whatever. But I think for Team, there's a great chance to win here after that. But there are also other players coming up who've got a great chance at winning here. So it's not just that he can basically sit on the right side of the throne and wait for the throne to be vacated to win here. I think he'll keep pushing, and losing here will make him hungry, and maybe even adjust things in his game here and there a little bit for the future, trying to be more on the front foot, trying to be a bit more proactive instead of falling backwards on his backhand quite so often. But he does have the big loops and the big swings, and that's something that you just can't change overnight in your mid-20s.
So, our overall view of the tournament.
Shall I start? My feelings of this tournament. I feel like on the women's side we had a great winner. For the women's tour, for Simona Halep herself, I think that was fantastic. On the men's side, it was never really in doubt, except for 1 or 2 slow starts by Rafael Nadal. Excuse me. But I felt it was, except the women's final was really good, but I felt the second week of the Slam felt a bit anticlimactic, unfortunately. So that was something where I felt that we didn't have wall-to-wall amazing matches quite as often as you maybe would hope that you'd get. There wasn't a match like Kerber and Halep at the Australian Open 2018. You didn't get that. So still, it was a fine tournament in terms of there weren't any ridiculous, outrageous stories, except for maybe, I don't know, Marco Trungelliti or Marco Cecchinato. Those are like the outlandish stories that stand out to me. But beyond that, it wasn't a tournament for crazy stories, but it was a serviceable tournament, and it was fine. It was okay. And it was the last year that we will see Roland Garros in its current setup. And next year, things are going to change quite significantly. We are currently sitting here in the web room where a lot of things started in a way, and it'll all be torn down very, very soon. And we're currently painting the walls with quotes and other things and whatever comes to mind, and it'll all be gone in a few days, and it'll all be built up again.
Yeah, just to, well, I mean, okay, so my end of the tournament, for me, I felt strangely flat today because I think all of my energy was leading up to a final with Halep, and I was spent after that, utterly spent. I think it's amazing that she did it. I'm really glad that she did it when she was number 1. I think all those people that have been real haters really have to go away and lie down in a darkened room somewhere and rethink themselves, because she proved it. And she now actually has nothing to prove to anybody anymore. And I think we'll see her game improve 100-fold because she won't feel that she's got a monkey on her back. Big sort of standout moments for me was sort of seeing Serena come back through 3 rounds. That was more than I thought
Serena
that
was
she
very
would.
impressive in her 3 rounds. And then again, it ended in a bit of an anticlimax, unfortunately. So this is the thing where
the anticlimactic slam.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but in a way, I think that sums it up quite well. They were all the elements were all there.
Yeah.
It was all lining up well, and then it felt a little bit like the air was let out here and there, and in just a few pockets, and that's why things then went a very straightforward way without a lot of dramatic deviation. So but that's the way sometimes things go on to dramatic thrilling, scintillating finale, and sometimes things are straightforward.
But
and this was more straightforward.
we got our scintillating. I mean, at least we got one scintillating
We've got a very
final.
good final
So,
on the women's side. So,
and yeah, literally, while we were waiting for, literally the minute that the match finished, we were all presented with ceremonial hard hats for the Roland Garros tear down party.
demolition party.
Yeah, and they're not kidding. We actually all have hard hats with Roland Garros demolition party.
2018.
2018. We've been running around, scampering around like with reckless abandon, writing things on walls because it's all coming down. It's just as well, actually, that they didn't go to Monday. Otherwise, we'd have been sat here with those hard hats for good.
Truly, they would have torn down the building around us while they were still playing out there. Maybe. Probably not. Probably not.
But it'll be interesting to see. Next year, they're going to put us in the Underground Museum, or where the Underground Museum is now. And it's quite funny because all the people on the desk were like, but there are exhibits, what are we going to do? So, well, they'll take them out, obviously. We're not going to be working in amongst, Suzanne Longland's stockings. But
It's going to be fine. I think they're going to find a suitable solution.
yeah,
It's going to be all right.
because at the end of the day, this slam is gaining popularity. It is behind the other three slams in terms of how much capacity it can deal with. It's making amends by the new Court 18, the new greenhouse court, which actually I think people are going to spontaneously combust in because it is all glass. But it is growing, so it will be interesting to be a part of it next year if they let us back. But yeah, any lasting thoughts before we both head off to the grass in different countries?
Yeah, I don't have any. I'll just shunt everything from this tournament away, and I'll be in Stuttgart tomorrow morning or Monday morning at 11 a.m. and then I'll be running up to the tournament site, and a certain Mr. Roger Federer is going to have a press conference at 11:30. So it's going to be. I
wonder what he's going to be announcing.
No, it's just.
Have you got any unique clue what he might be saying?
It's just going to be a pre-tournament press conference, so I don't think we will get anything along those lines. But yeah, it's going to be a quiet day after a slam, which I so desperately need.
Well, I'm sure you're pretty tired of us by now after 15 days of blethering, so you're going to get a week off, and then you will be joined by Jake Davis and I as we talk to you from Birmingham and then Eastbourne, and then I'll have to see who's around to have a chit-chat while I'm at Wimbledon. But thank you very much for your indulgence and your patience. We've enjoyed talking at you. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us. I am Ros Satar.
My name's René Denfeld.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye-bye. Tear this place down.